Big up, big up. We got all this stuff ready and rock and rolling. Big up, big up, big up to everyone joining us. I'm Liberal Tough Man, and I am doing a post-match review, possibly solo, but certainly not alone if you're there with me in the audience. I was going to say it is a case of basically what this guy is saying. Number 22 for our team, telling the traveling Geordies what he thinks about their disapproval of his performance today. I think most of us were all happy though, as well as we end the first month of the new year with our first win in the Premier League, which is kind of weird thing to say, but it is something that is well appreciated, well taken in, because it has been a long time coming, and we finally got to this place where we are able to enjoy what we have, which is a W. So I know there's a lot to talk about, and certainly a lot to get into. Hopefully, you'll stick with me on this one and tell me what you guys are thinking. Brilliant result, says Jimmy. Definitely spot on. Spot on. It's a breath of fresh air, I would say, because I know a lot of us were a little bit trepidatious going into this game. It was one that isn't exactly an easy fixture, whether home or away. And it is a fixture that often brings a lot of hurt feelings, I guess you could say. We saw the Scouser on Newcastle score against Liverpool today. And also what I say, which is why another reason why I just don't like this guy. Putting in a careless tackle. I won't say reckless, but I'll say careless. Against Ali. Look, that could easily be something that, where a player, injures an ankle or does something stupid by breaking a bone in a player with that kind of challenge. I understand that those challenges were accepted back in the day. I even understand the fact that some people can make a big deal about maybe some people are making a big deal out of little. But in my opinion, that was a poor challenge. And I'm not saying it was a red card, but I am saying that it was deserving a yellow card. And it just shows the nature of this guy. He does not care one little bit about taking out players or trying to prop his team. Yeah, I give him credit for that. But I mean, but as long as he's not a red, I don't rate it. So big up. Big up Rasta Crab in the house. The streets have arrived. Big up, big up. 10 goals in 2 games. Not bad at all. He's a nasty little hobbit. He is, Ross the Crab. He certainly is. Shout out to Hylor. I definitely want to say once again, big up to Jimmy as well. If you guys are watching us on X, definitely still give us a shout. I will see your comments, and that way I can include them with the audience in YouTube. And vice versa. Obviously, YouTube, I see all the comments and I see all the interactions between you on here. But, well, let me say this. You could say Hugo Ekitiké was the one who got away from Newcastle last summer. But I would say that would be a story if it wasn't meant to be the one of many who got away from Newcastle. And that's just the goodness truth. I remember a couple memes showing how Newcastle were always targeting this player and that player and this player and that player. And it just kept going wah, 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 at the end of the day when it came to him. But they finally got some good players. I'm not going to lie. Visa is a good player. Walter Mate is a good player. So they brought in some good players. They brought in some good players before that. Tonali and the likes are good players. And obviously Bruno G is a good player as well. But Bruno G wasn't here today. which is good. That's their captain, and I think he's a little bit of a pain in the back as well. But this is Anfield, and we sure did make Eddie Howe feel the regret of not getting this guy right here. He definitely made you understand and stand up and take notice, because 2 goals in 3 minutes, you know, Liverpool need that kind of consistency from this player. It's belief that he can reinstill this team. It's a statement that this season is far from over in the sense of we still have things to play for this season. Let's be honest. I know that it's been looking pretty grim. I understand it's been looking very bleak at times, but the reality of it is that we still have things to play for. An FA Cup, obviously the Champions League, and to be honest, I know we're already out of League Cup, but still the same, we have to make a concerted effort on making a top 4 finish. So I know, shout out to Abdul, big up Abdul. Um, we still need to improve. It's a work in progress, I would say, certainly. Um, a work in progress in the sense that there were some players that really made some fantastic additions to this club. And most notably, I'm going to say, most notably, I would say Ekitike and Wirtz are slowly but surely becoming the dynamic duo of this league. I can't stress enough that it is such a uh, fantastic feeling to know that not only are Ekitike and Wirtz slowly but surely becoming a combination to be feared, but also the fact that the guy that gave Ekitike a little bit of was clapping him up and also giving a little bit of a noogie on the head, um, and that was Isak will be back. Isak will be back. Um, I think Isak will be back, and I think he will make a serious difference when he does come back for this team because I think he's going to have a lot. He's going to have a lot on his mind in trying. He knows the type, like what style and type of quality player he is. He's regarded as being before his injury, he was regarded as being one of the best in the Premier League, if not Europe, as a striker. And I know that Ekitike has definitely solidified himself as being the man at Liverpool when it comes to our frontal attack. But Isak is going to definitely have work to be done, and I'm sure he's going to put in the effort to be a part of it and make contributions. Um, I do humbly disagree with Crab. I understand that you could say or make an argument that um, Mohamed Salah is not the Mohamed Salah of 24, 25, but I will say that Mohamed Salah is still quality doesn't just disappear, and he is a quality player. I think that you take what you can from Mohamed Salah in that there are things that are going to have to, mentally, if his ego is stroked, then of course he becomes a little bit more engaged, becomes a little bit more in play. But I honestly do think that there is something that you can still get out of Salah. He's just going to have to learn to adapt to a new role with the club as not maybe to being the sole target or the emphasis of our offense can't be oriented towards just Salah. Um, it's a case where a lot of players last season or the season before, especially, would always take a back seat to Salah and certainly give him the majority of the shots and give him the majority of the efforts and touches. However, this is a different team. It's a different Salah, like you just mentioned, and it's someone that has to be taken as what it is, and that is a player that still deserves respect, a player that, if you don't give him respect, it could be at your warning. And then also, he is a player that I believe takes on these kinds of um, challenges in life seriously. I think he's going to take this challenge, and I think he's going to make the most of it. But we'll see. We'll see. I just think that this game was, you can tell me different or not, but this game was definitely a game where after that initial goal and maybe even a wake-up call by getting scored on the way we did, um, Liverpool reminded the league that when we're in lockstep with each other, we're still a very, very formidable squad. There's too much talent on this team to not be. I honestly think there's too much talent on this team for us to not contend in some fashion or another. So I'm going to begin. I'm going to begin by saying my first segment here is punished, but punished then close to perfect, I guess you could say. I'm not going to say perfect, but there were times where we were trying to struggle to get into gear. I know online, I was talking to the guys in our group chat, and I was talking, and myself and Lee were talking about the same point, and that was that Liverpool seemed to not be in gear in the very beginning of this game. We seemed to be like, I don't know if you have ever drove a manual or I don't know what you guys will call it in the UK, but we call it a stick shift or a manual. It's where most cars are automatics, but anyway, sometimes when you are shifting gears, you tend to not be able. Sometimes you hear the grind. If you're not good at shifting gears, you hear the grinding, and then sometimes a gear or a car can slip out of gear. I don't think we even got in gear. I don't even know if we even got the opportunity to slip out of gear. And why I say that is because it was looking like in the very beginning of this game, we just did not wake up. We just didn't. We seemed to be sleepwalking through that first, I'd say 25, 30 minutes of the game. And it was frustrating. They had, I think at one point, 5 or 6 corners to our 0 corners. And it was concerning. And especially as Hyler was saying, Newcastle is a different team on the road than they are at home. So for them to come out with this kind of vigor and this kind of press and this kind of assertiveness, it was troubling because Liverpool didn't start well. And Newcastle came out aggressive. Like I said, they came out physical. They were fearless at times. Anthony Gordon, in particular, was a menace. He's a pain in the neck, as he normally is, pressing from the front because he was playing there. It was an interesting, I know they've done it before, but it was an interesting tactical approach that Gordie Howe took with this one, leaving Walter Mate on the bench for this game. Even Visa on the bench for this game, and starting Gordon as his starting center forward. But look, Gordon was shooting on sight. He was dragging defenders all over the place. In the very beginning, at least, Gordon scored the opener. It felt ominous, I would say, because instead of folding, like I said earlier, it woke us up. Maybe it was because it's Gordon. Maybe it was because, it's the fact that we've got history with Gordon And the fact that we just weren't doing anything. We just weren't doing anything. And what I mean by doing anything, meaning like we were clearing the ball, but just having quick turnovers and not looking at really controlling the game, setting the tempo, and making the crowd feel the upbuilding tempo that we were going to bring out for us. I will admit that the ref was Simon Hooper is one of the worst refs I think in the league. I don't know if I would say he's the worst ref, but he is certainly one of the worst refs. And again, this is me complaining about a referee. I get that, but I'm complaining about a referee in a game we won comfortably. But I just don't think that he got this game correct. I think that the challenge on Gakpo by Burns was a poor challenge. Could have been another yellow. I think that Gordon could have had 2 yellows in this game as well. The challenge to McAllister, I understand it was borderline, but it should have been probably a yellow card for him in that occasion as well. But again, it is what it is. We still won the game, and the likes. Jimmy's saying the ref left them, but the ref left them off lightly for a lot of those tackles early on in the game. I agree with that too. Anything else about the referee before I move on? That's funny. That's funny. I just realized that. Big up, Hylor. But like I said, Liverpool woke up after that goal. The instigator. I have to say, 2 for this guy right here. 2 for number 22. He did a number 2 for his 22, he said. 2 goals in 3 minutes. No panic, no hesitation, by the way. Just ruthless finishing. I would say ruthless, clinical, whatever it is that you want to dictate as being a synonym with fantastic. 2 very, very good goals by our number 22. After those goals, from that moment on, I think Liverpool pretty much controlled the match. I would say McAllister holding his throat. I would say, what about Ekitiké? What about Ekitiké? McAllister did get hit in the throat region, by the way. If you look at it, he did get hit in the throat region. So it is what it is. I know Wonderful Horseshoe is a Geordie sympathizer, or a supporter at least. And you figured there would be some. We've got some Geordies that actually, or at least some Newcastle supporters that used to regularly join our conversation, to be honest with you. Wonderful Horseshoe. You can our chat, our OGs in the chat can tell you. We have had some pretty cool Geordies join us that are respectful and are certainly understanding of the fact that Newcastle is certainly picking the wrong team to fight with when it comes to trying to throw banter and throw some shade our way. I think this is what the High Lord could probably tell me correctly, because I know he's more stat laden than even myself sometimes. But I believe this is the 29th straight victory that we've had at home against Newcastle. I want to say, I think it's 29 wins in a row that we've had at Anfield. That is something. That is a compliment. And on top of that, let me say this: shout out to, I guess you could say, Lucky Horseshoe. A bit of luck our way too is that or a bit of luck your way, maybe. Your team has now become the leading team for us to do doubles over in a campaign year. So we've done 12 doubles in the Premier League era over Newcastle. So shout out to giving us that record. I appreciate that. That was a pretty cool accomplishment. No doubt, no doubt. But I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Just a little bit of banter with you. A little bit of banter with you. That's all. um, but anyways, could you repeat the question, please? I don't think anyone got the correct score line for today. Or actually, you know what? I don't think anyone. Yeah, I don't think anyone got the correct score line because no one picked 4-1. I would have remembered that if someone picked 4 goals for us. There's 3-1. 3-1 was it. But yeah. I went with 2-1. I thought it was gonna be a little bit closer of a game than it actually was. Lone Sheep called it 3-1. Yeah, there's a bunch of 3-1s. There was, like myself, I called it 2-1, but the end result was a 4-1. I would say 4-1. 4-1. Would you call it demolishing or beatdown? I don't know if you would say that or not, but it was definitely a very, very, a very, very heightened game of back and forth action, and certainly a lot of different goals to talk about. So we're going to get into that tonight. This one, Newcastle haven't won at Anfield since 1995. Yeah. I think that I don't know if McAllister got he might be right. McAllister might not have gotten hit in the throat. If that's what you look at it that way. Maybe he was just saying that with a 1-0 lead. No, I'm not even gonna bring out. I'm not even Wonderful Horseshoe. I'm not even gonna throw banter your way. I'm not even gonna be mean. I'll be as respectful as possible. But Newcastle haven't won at Anfield since 1995. You got to remember the sheer fact that the Premier League started in 1992. So that is 30 games, including today, that Liverpool have beaten Newcastle at Anfield. That is a phenomenal streak. And like I said, this is the 12th time that we have done a double, meaning home and away victories over Newcastle in the league, in the Premier League. And the accomplishment now takes us to a point where Newcastle is the team we've beaten the most home and away in the Premier League. So that is an accomplishment against that is an accomplishment against a team that is certainly a good team. I have no issues or problems with Newcastle. I don't think they should be in the middle of the pack, by the way. I don't think they should be or at least they shouldn't be as far down as they are. I know that there's not much that separates a lot of the teams in the Premier League this season. As a matter of fact, I'll just take a look at the standings. 33 points is what Newcastle now sits on. We are at 39 points, so we sit 6 points ahead of them. Chelsea, 40 points. Manchester City, Villa, all behind Arsenal with 46 points to their 53. But again, Manchester United will have to still play a Brentford will have to still play. But then again, Brentford will be ahead of them regardless of result. I know that Sunderland has to still play. So again, sitting on 33 points a lot. There's a couple teams on 33 points actually. Bournemouth, Sunderland, Newcastle now with this 24th game played, and Brentford now at 33 points. So they could see themselves get surpassed by a Sunderland or maybe even a Brentford, pushing them further down in the table, maybe. But again, I don't think Newcastle are as bad as their record indicates. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know, if, to be honest with you, if I know Eddie Howe is a competent coach. I just don't think Eddie Howe is a coach to get you to that next level. He's certainly someone that could be a steward to keep you in the middle of the pack style runs. But I just honestly, this is my own perspective. I don't think Eddie Howe is that kind of coach that gets you to that next level. I think you do need to bring in a coach that is not only going to demand respect in the locker room, but also possibly be a to be maybe a caveat to bringing in even more talent into Newcastle simply because of the star power of the coach. That's just my personal opinion. But I still think all due respect to Newcastle. But after Ekitéké's goal, from that moving on, like I said, Liverpool pretty much controlled the match. Florian Wirtz added the third after the break. Eddie Howe's changes, pretty much, like I said, changed nothing. Slot flooded the midfield to suffocate the game, which was a smart move, smart tactical move. And then came the moment that hit everyone in the chest. I think some of us were definitely rooting this moment on. And the moment that I'm speaking on is this moment right here. I think that when Ibu scored late in this game, I think football for that moment took a back seat for a lot of us. This team, this club, these players, this fan base have gone through a lot. Obviously, the passing of Jota has really, and his brother as well, has really set deep sorrow in a lot of us, and knowing that Konaté, it's his first game back since the death of his father. He's thrown straight in because the team needs him, plain and simple. He was immense from minute one, might I say. He looked almost like this was a much needed distraction in his life at the moment. It was I think obviously Nick Pope made the mistake by kind of batting the ball, not saving the ball, but giving Konaté another chance at getting a foot on it. Konaté capitalized on it. I think Konaté, he pulled up his shirt to kind of hide his tears, but the tears, I think, said it all for a lot of us at least. This wasn't just a goal. This was a human moment in a brutal sport, which is very crucial, critical, excuse me. Very unforgiving when it comes to a lot of the criticism and a lot of the sometimes cold-heartedness by people in the circles we keep. And you could tell this really meant something because, I think obviously this hug by his center half brother there and our captain, VVD, meant something. But I think, what really symbolized something to me was the fact that, and this might be something that maybe some people overlooked, or maybe it wasn't that revealing or that important to you. But for me, it was important in the case that when I saw Ali run up, one, it's a far run from the goalkeeper from the other end of the pitch all the way to the other end, especially for a goalkeeper. Okay, because goalkeepers don't tend to make those kinds of runs. But For him to run up and the whole team showed him love. But for when I saw Ali run up, give him a big hug, a kiss on the forehead or top of the head, something like that. And it kind of having been a part of a community where um again myself, um rest in peace to JK's father as well. I mean, there's people that I know personally, myself included, that have lost a father, and how tragic it can be with the fact of that you missed the person, or that person is no longer a physical being in your presence, in your life. And um knowing he's spent time with his family, hopefully to give them the support that they need as well. um it was very touching to see, to say the least. After the post match, Ibu got on the mic, and in the interview, he said, "I don't have words to describe what I feel right now. It was a very different moment for me and my difficult, excuse me, moment for me and my family. The manager told me to take my time, but we had injuries, and I wanted to help the team." I can't say enough that um, for those of us that have been very critical of Ibu or other players included on this team, um, when you see players say those kinds of comments, but also give that kind of sacrifice, you have to understand why, to some of us, or to a good number of us, this means more. Like this is why Liverpool really resonates with a lot of us. Because I think that kind of comment, that kind of sacrifice, is what you see when it comes to Liverpool. It's what has definitely ingratiated me to, um, you know, hold a place in my heart for Liverpool, because of the sheer brilliance of the people, um, the absolute amazing history and brilliance of the club in general. It really does make a difference, and that's what this club still is in my mind, and that is an absolutely incredible family. And I appreciate being a part of it. And shout out to those that are part of our family as well in the community. Um, oh yes, yes, and certainly Brian losing his father as well. Yeah, definitely. It hasn't been an easy one. I know Brian was extremely close with his father as well. Um, Rest in peace, of course, to both of your fathers. Um, I was going to say something that I thought was really, really. I was going to save this for another show, but it just has to be done now, and that is this. This is what we have, the brilliance, of possibly living through at this moment. There's one thing. Um, there's one thing I can say, and that is, you know, I've been blessed to have lived and been following this team through all three of these eras right here. And I know people are going to talk about Ian Rush and Fowler and the likes. All due respect, I understand that, and there's only so many layers of this I could have put together. Okay, but why I am bringing up this, at least for this Premier League era, okay, um, I am excited about this new era of Liverpool football that we're going to embark on with Florian Wirtz at such a young age. at Hugo Ekitiké at such a young age. Again, with Isak, I am not excluding him from this. These are duos. Yes, I'm excited about the triumvirate that will be the triangle that I've spoke about, which is the pyramid of power that I am talking about, which will be Ekitike, Isak, and Wirtz. I can't say enough about these guys. Um, I mean, look, some of us might have different opinions about Coutinho. I get that. Some are a little bit still vexed about Fernando and how he left the club. But when they were a part of our club, when Steven Gerrard had Fernando Torres, El Nino to give through balls to, or when Coutinho could do a little bit of his samba magic with our or his magician samba magic with Bobby Blue Eyes right there. Um, it was special. It was special. And again, I am excited that this partnership that we're seeing emerge between Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike is exciting. It is the silver lining in this season for sure. Because you can't get through most games, at least that they play in, without talking about Wirtz and Ekitike. And this is becoming a real every game thing. Real everyday thing. And again, I like us like Russian dog leash. Yes, I get it. I am not, all due respect, I'm not taking away from the incredible history of strikers and and partnerships that we've seen from past eras. Absolutely. I'm just referencing my eye tests, my inclusion in this journey with Liverpool and my fellow Reds, and my journey began in the '90s, and again, El Nino was possible early on. Michael Owen was my favorite player. I openly admit that, but or the player that brought me really to Liverpool. But I am accepting that El Nino is one of the reasons why I was never looking to leave. I loved El Nino. I thought El Nino before his knee injury, I think, was possibly one of the best forwards with just raw natural talent that I've ever seen. Pace, finesse, just straight up incredible ability. And I'm willing to take on anyone in a debate about that. That's my guy. El Nino was my guy, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the two individuals at the bottom of this list, but certainly at the top of our heart, and that is Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike. Wirtz, 1 goal, 1 assist. He was constant movement between the lines. He just absolutely was a menace, and then just a menace to Newcastle. And then Ekitike, 2 outstanding finishes. The second from an absolutely ridiculous angle. I mean, the way that he struck that ball, it was beyond a quality finish. Just turned on the afterburners, saw the space in front of him, turned on the afterburners, got space between this defender, saw the only angle to shoot that ball, and put it in the bottom right-hand corner. What a finish. Listen, you can take my word, or you can even take the word of our players. Wirtz said, quote, "It's fun to play with him. He's unbelievable," meaning Ekitike. And even Ibu, who got the interview at the end of this of the game, spoke on Wirtz, and he said he hasn't reached his peak yet. When he does, my God, it will be crazy. we are in this run of life where we're going to be able to see the phoenix, the rise of this phoenix, this red phoenix. That's going to be fantastic. It's not hype, people. That's teammates telling you something that is oncoming. That is your friend, your fellow red here saying the same. I am absolutely on top of the world. That we're going to see uh, a fantastic on-field relationship develop. I don't want words in our half. Oh, I get you. You don't want to see him tracking back. Got you. Let's see any other comments. Blah, 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 blah. Just get some of your comments in before I even move on to my little coach's corner. The 51st state. Yes. I think it's called something different here in on this side of the pond. Let me it's um let me see. I'll tell you what it's called here. I forget what it's called. It's like it deals with the actual ingredient or something like that. Formula 51 is what it was called here in this side of the pond. The 51st state, but it's also known as Formula 51. And it was because like that was the actual formula that he regulated or something. I don't know. You gotta always love a movie that's got Samuel L. Jackson in a kilt, okay, representing his I think he's representing his I think he was Scottish, I want to say, in the in the movie. Not saying there's not, but I mean, I don't know that many uh that many Scottish Scottish men that resemble Samuel L. Jackson, but I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are all the same. Um anyhow, good movie if you like films. It doesn't deal. It's not directly linked to being a football film. However, it is a film where football is um, football has a platform or a stage. In that he was a Liverpool fan, and and I think even one of the scenes is I don't know if it was actually in Anfield, but it depicts being at Anfield in the movie. So it was actually I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it for those reasons. Um, I'll ask you real quick. Out of the three that are emerging, and there will be, I guess, there will be a day when Wirtz and Hugo Ekitiké can have an argument with the other two. But if you were ranking these, like as in if and I put them somewhat in this manner, if you're ranking the three duos, you could do it from potential, maybe if you like or not, but all the same, we already know what the arc of the story was for the top two. Am I wrong to have put Gerard and Torres as my gold medal, Coutinho and Firmino as my silver medal, and for right now at least, Wirtz and Ekitike being my bronze medal? If I had to rank these three duos so far, is that wrong for me to say? I say right now because there could be an argument that if Wirtz and Ekitike make some real progression, they certainly could possibly overtake that silver medal, uh, and then maybe even put in a run for the top honor. I know Suarez and Sturridge. I know. Trust me, Daniel Sturridge is my guy. And again, yeah, you could. I just didn't want to I just didn't want to deal with seeing Suarez's face, to be honest with you. I'm just not a fan of Suarez, so maybe that's why I got a little bias involved in it. But on the pitch, Suarez and Sturridge were possibly two of our best duos. And another shout for two striker system, by the way. Another shout for a two striker system, which was Suarez and Sturridge. I'll agree with that completely. All right. I agree with that too. I agree with that too. I actually have told Sturridge that directly, or one on one. I've told him that as well. I told him how I thought that he was one of the best strikers I've ever seen in my life, and certainly one of the most talented strikers we've had the privilege of calling a red. All right, all right. Well, we all know we can all see who Norm rates as being the top. I don't know if I put even Suarez and Sturridge can certainly get in this list. Maybe I would have had if it wasn't for me making this list or making this or recognizing this graphic, I probably would have put Suarez and Sturridge on this list, like as in Suarez and Sturridge probably were on this list. But I honestly do think that Wirtz and Ekitiké are slowly but surely gaining momentum to take that place on that list. All the same, all the same. I wanted to talk about slot. I want to talk about substance. I want to talk about margins that matter. I don't have a panel with me, so I'll just make you my panel out there. And that is, I call this segment Coach's Corner. So let's drop into the Coach's Corner because a 4-1 win, like which we just saw, is something that a manager probably will be proud of, or at least respective of. And it also says how he says it matters just as much as the scoreline. In Slot's, excuse me, I'll say Klopp. In Slot's post-match comments, Arne didn't get carried away. He said no, he didn't really do a victory lap. He didn't do any hype about the victory. Instead, Slot doubled down on themes we've heard before, but this time with evidence, you could say maybe on the pitch, and that he made a mention. I talked about it before in the pre-match or the pre-match preview. I talked about how we had to be clinical in both boxes. Progression, not perfect, but still progression. Slot said Liverpool were much more clinical in both boxes, and he framed it as a step, not a solution. That's important because this season hasn't been about lack of talent. It's about execution in key moments. Again, in that first beginning portion, I'd say first third of the game, first like 30 minutes of the game, we lacked energy. We lacked real adrenaline. We lacked spark or buzz from our team. Again, we were allowing we were first the ball, but getting very, very lackadaisical on that second ball recovery. And that was something of an issue. But we did step it up. After we scored our equalizer, we started to step it up very quickly. Excuse me. In the sense of getting some life back to our team. Mentality and intensity. The non-negotiables, what I call it the next section. And that's because Slot also leaned heavily on mentality. We used to be called mentality monsters. Remember those days? Mentality monsters. I was often associated with Liverpool. Not so much lately, with the way we've kind of, did the rope-a-dope, or would just try to get through games, what seemed like on the back foot, or allowing teams like your Bournemouths or teams that we should be able to hold off and completely control the tempo against. We allow for them to not only get into games, but we play to their level, allow for them to not only get into games, and us playing to their level, but for us to see us go down early in the scores or early in the scoreboard to them, and that wasn't something that we're used to seeing as of late with an Arne Slot team, especially not last year, but this year it has been the case. So he leaned heavily on mentality. He was relentless about the pressing. He's talking about players sprinting back. He's talking about winning duels late in the game. This wasn't just tactical praise; it was a cultural recognition. It was a cultural thing. How many times have you and I in the chat, especially those of you that are Liverpool fans or supporters, how often do we talk about identity? How often do we talk about this team needing a source of real identity, real fight, spirit, pride? All these things have to be reminiscent of what you bring out onto the pitch with you. And quite often, we've seen a team that we get a goal scored on us, and our energy dips, and it falls to critical levels. And then sometimes we go into a dormant state, and that's not where we want to be. Shout out Dustin, the legend that is Dustin. Big up, big up. I know that top four reality has to be pressure without panic. If you want to say anything in the chats or in the social circles that we frequent, we have to have pressure. We have to acknowledge that there will be pressure, but we cannot have panic. We cannot be on the settings of the sky is falling, Chicken Little settings. I am not going to go far away from being critical or being constructive with my criticism. You have to be. This forum, our forum alone, is one of those unique forums, so we can do that, and that's why I appreciate it. Appreciate every one of you, to be honest with you. Shout out Eric, big up to you. But we do need to be honest. And what I mean by the honesty I'm seeking is top four a reality? Or is it something that we will not be able to maintain or not even maintain, because we're still in fifth place currently? But is it something that we're not going to be able to grasp and hold on to because of the pressure? Or will we be able to withhold the amount of pressure, succumb the panic, and prevail? Because in Slot's words, Slot didn't hide from the table. He admitted there's no margin for error in the top four race, but he didn't frame it as a panic. He framed it as a reality. And that's the truth. It is a reality that we are not top four in top four form from the past games that we've been from January. And that's separating England and Europe. But we are in the top form that you have to have belief. You have to have some semblance of structure. And I think we have that. Speaking of structure, we have one of the pinnacle legs, or the pillars.
One of Liverpool's favourite sons, 12. I'll take the words off your lips. One of Liverpool's favourite sons.
There you go. One of the pillars of Liverpool himself, Lee.
Well, I'm in a surprisingly good mood considering the state we've been in lately. Like, that was for the entirety of the first half until we scored. Like, I wasn't in a good mood. Like, but then from that point on, it really cheered me up. What I will say is, like, I was thinking today that Hugo could be the difference, like, in a tight game. We ended up winning 4-1, like, but the damage was done with his first 2 goals, like, and that's what I was hoping for tonight, like, and that's what I got. And it's the style, the savoir-faire that we've talked about many times before about Hugo. The guy's got it, like, we just need to see a team around him playing better and providing him with more chances. And that guy's going to give us goals, like, and some really good goals as well. That second goal, it was just that last touch, wasn't it? It was just a little bit of class, like, because, you could say, oh, it was easy for him. He just ran into the space, like, but he sized it up. He had to look who was going to go up against, like, nudged it in front of him. There you go, 2-0. And it was the first goal with Wirtz as well. First goal was gorgeous with Wirtz, like, he knew, like, didn't he? Like, and this is the thing that's given me a lot of hope, like, in the last few weeks, like, the burgeoning relationship between Ekitiké and Wirtz, like, is coming on the street, and we just need to get the team around them functioning a little bit better, like, and it'll be good. It'll all be good.
Yeah. It'll all be good. And not only that, you know what's funny about this is that our next match is not an easy match. Let's be honest. Our next match is not going to be an easy match. We are going to be facing a team that is in the title race, a team that is looking to keep pace with Arsenal and possibly even get on equal standing with the team. I heard this question be asked in a social forum that I congregate on, and it was on Twitter. And let me say this: I am not going to do what Spurs fans were doing last season, in where they would rather lose. They would rather lose. They would have rather lost to how is it? I think it was like something like Spurs had a chance to like beat City and that would have helped Arsenal, but they were saying how they would rather lose to City if it meant that Arsenal doesn't win the title. I heard someone ask a question that said, would you accept losing to City next week if it meant that Arsenal does not win the title? And let me say this, as much as I can't stand Arsenal fans or supporters somewhat, or just the club in general, I will say this. There is absolutely no way that I want to see Liverpool lose to City, just so it could mean, even if it means that Arsenal goes on to win the league, hey, so be it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You heard me say it. So be it. But there's no way I'm sacrificing that.
Yeah, it's a strange world. It's a perverse world at times, being a football fan. Many times I've wanted Man United to win in the last few years, like, and normally I would never want them to win a fucking game, a point, anything. But if it does us good, I want them to win.
Yeah. I didn't think, and I meant like I didn't want them to win, for instance, against Arsenal. But I did want them to draw against Arsenal. And I didn't want so if they got a point, I really wouldn't care. But like I definitely didn't want Arsenal to win, and I didn't want Manchester United to win in that game. But I know, unfortunately, someone has to either win or both of them have to come away with 1 point. Manchester United won, and I think that was like the lesser of two evils for me. I don't know about you, Lee, if you agree. I see that Manchester United were the lesser of two evils in the sense of I don't think Manchester United are going to have that lasting power or lasting endurance to get past, because eventually this new manager bounce that they're on will end. I think it will fizzle out at one point. They'll come against a team. They'll go up against a team that's going to put them to the fire, and they're really going to be tested. And if they end up failing and such, they could fall into that little bit of a spiral. I think that Manchester United are more likely to do that than Arsenal. So therefore, if Manchester United came away with the 3 points, so be it in that game. That's how I was looking at it. I don't know. Were you looking at it from a different perspective?
I've got to be honest, I don't really care if Arsenal win the title, so none of that really bothers me. But as far as United are concerned, it seems like a long time ago to me now that we went there and won 3-0. That was our last away game there when Ten Hag was boss, wasn't it? And Arne was new. At that point, we didn't know we were going to win the title, go on to win the title and all that. But that was a brilliant win last time we went there. It's going to be difficult this time, though, because I don't know, he's got them going, hasn't he? A bit like Fletcher. It ain't going to be no 3-0 this time, mate. It ain't going to be no cakewalk, no duck walk. But hopefully we'll get a win. Anyway, like I said, I really don't care about Arsenal winning the league. It doesn't mean nothing to me. Arsenal are a big rival. They're a big club. I'd be an idiot. It'd be churlish of me to say that they're not a big club and a big rival. But as far as league titles go, they're not a big rival to me. So they can have their 14th if they want, fill your boots. It ain't going to bother me.
I got you. Two more things that Slot spoke on, and I'll get through this coach's corner real quick. And the two other things that he talked about was consistency versus rotation. And what that was is one of Slot's most honest admissions in this press conference that he gave was about lineup consistency. He wants to have it. He wants to have lineup consistency. He wants to have something that he can basically have the lineup pick itself. But the schedule does not allow for it. If you look at it, we just had a tough competitor in Newcastle today. Tomorrow's not tomorrow's game, but our next game is against Manchester City. And then the game after that is going to be a very difficult game because Sunderland is a very difficult team to beat at home. And it's a team that's already faced up against us and played well against us, obviously, as well. I believe they beat us. I forget the score, but they did beat us earlier this season. So, rotation isn't a preference. It has to be something of a survival technique for this team. Do you agree with the rotation that you've seen Arne Slot use, or do you think that there's more room towards, rotating players in earlier, maybe for more meaningful minutes, if not just for opportunities to give our players rest?
I'd like that, in a season that was going well. I'd want to see, things like that, young players given minutes and stuff like that. But this season we're really struggling, for players, aren't we? And there's not really that many rotation options this season. So all I can really think at the moment is whatever gets the job done. I'm not really that concerned about rotation or that. I just want to win games at the moment. Because that's what we've been struggling to do. I mean, it'd be just like us, the form we're in, in sort of the team we are at the moment, to beat City and then struggle at Sunderland. But that's provided that we beat City, which we have done quite a few times on the bounce. Was it twice on the bounce now? We beat them at home before. They're always a tough game, home or away. But I'm starting to get little bit jazzed about this City game now that we could actually turn them over when they're on top. They're well on top of us at the moment, in terms of positions and points. It's interesting, because last season it was, it was the other way around, wasn't it? And you had Pep, talking and that, but it will be an interesting game, and it's one I've got quite a lot of hope for now, because it's the games against the lower teams and that where we've been really struggling. We've been okay in the games against the better sides, the draw at Arsenal improved. So hopefully we can get something done against City. It's going to be hard, but I think we can definitely do it.
I think so too. I think that we'll need the same crowd energy that we saw today from our fans at Anfield for us to get over the line. I think that was a difference maker in today's game. Um, uh, Norm is a regular. I'm sure he could probably attest to what the difference in the crowd was. I believe for inspiring the team to keep their head up despite going down 1-0. Especially to Gordon, who definitely doesn't bring warm fuzzy feelings inside. There was something that he said, and it was the final coach's corner question, at least, was the bigger picture. And what I meant by this is after this performance, do you believe Slot's ideas are finally translating to the Premier League? Or there was something that I heard, and that was apparently Arnie was yelling from the sideline that at the players because they apparently weren't listening to the instructions he was giving them on the pitch. I don't know if you saw that or not, or if you heard if the
No,
commentators you're
that's
listening to
not
said that.
right. But is that what's been said? Yeah, that they were not listening to what he was shouting and that what he was barking out.
Yeah. And I mean, but it was interesting because I know we're talking about rotation. For instance, let me start this off. And again, this is maybe I know this might be like what do you call it? Like picking at things that don't necessarily need to be picked at. But the rotation for tonight saw us start to sub players in at the 84th minute is when we started really subbing players in. The 84th minute. We were up 3-1, by the way, from the 67th minute. I'm not going to say that this is all hindsight. I get that. We end up winning 4-1 in the likes. But again, I just think that we subbed on Chiesa. I know there's been a lot of talk. I sent there was a couple of different things I saw on the internet. I sent some of my my Reds brethren some a post that I saw that was a very interesting post. I'm not calling it I'm not saying that it is pure accuracy, everything that was reported in that post, but like Curtis Jones has had a lot of controversy and a lot of here and there spoken about him as of late. And then again, like this says, I think it was Norm that spoke on it. Endo got some minutes in the 87th minute. But what was unique about it was, again, especially for a coach talking about how rotation is important, how it's important for for players to get, rest and stay. And I think what's important about it is to get these players get their legs involved in Premier League games, I just thought they could have brought subs on a little earlier. I know that's maybe nitpicking, as they call it, right? But just keeping it 100. We're up 3-1 at this point. Does Ekitiké need to be on, considering that he is one of the I get that maybe you're putting him on simply so because you want to see him get a hat trick. But for me, that's not as important as having him fresh and ready for that Manchester City game.
Is it important? You see it a lot, don't you? In games where strikers have got two beautiful goals, and then they get the chance for the third. Doesn't happen. I would have liked it too, because it was a really big to up, it was giving more confidence in that to have hit a hat trick. But I just thought it was a good performance tonight, from the forward players, particularly Wirtz and Hugo. The others put, do you do others put, Mao and Gakpo put in a shift as well. They put in a good shift, like, and helped us and that. It was just in the decisive moments. It was Hugo, like, and Florian to turn the game our way, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I was really pleased for Arnie tonight because he's, been through the mill lately, hasn't he? Like,
Yes.
we've got a huge fan base and most of them have been saying he's a load of shit. But I was pleased for him tonight because, things came off. I've seen it in, like, there's been a few games lately, like, where he's come out and said, if this moment went differently or, we could have. But tonight it came off for him, like, and I'm pleased for him because, we still are coaching him for now, like, and we've got to have a little bit of faith in him that he can take us, into the Champions League qualification places. And then with this year's, I'm starting to get. I don't want to get ahead of myself, like, because we've won.
Right.
Well, we won the last 2 games 10-1, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But, like, if we could get ourselves into any type of shape before the knockout phases, then, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I know where you're going with
We're
this. It's that
going to win it, but I'd like to see us go as far
Oh,
as. Do you know what I mean?
Have faith. Never give up.
Oh no, usually it would. I just don't think we can do it this season.
Come
but we
on.
can go far, hopefully, like, with charitable draws. That can still be something that we can enjoy this season.
Right. I just can't give up. 2000. You were well aware, well involved in that 2005 run, and there's no way that any people in the beginning of the year were saying we were going to go on to win a Champions League that year. But sometimes you just got to believe.
We looked terrible halfway through that season. We looked terrible.
Are you talking about 2025, 26? Or are you talking about 2005? Well, that's why. You know what I mean?
It just come alive late on that season, didn't it? The funniest bit of it, like, as a Scouser, was that we denied Everton their place in the Champions League, and they had to go through the playoffs, and they got Villarreal and nearly went through, but didn't, which was the funniest bit of all.
Gotta love that. I love that. Yeah, I just think that there's always a chance. The reason why I said early on, there's 2 reasons why I said early on that I have picked Liverpool to go on and win the Champions League. And that was because I stated that my belief was 3 reasons really. One was I believe that this team is suited for Premier League, suited for Europe more than they are for England. And what I mean by that is they're suited more for Champions League than they are for the Premier League. The way the Premier League has definitely shifted to become the league that it is today, which is set piece FC, style league. Then to go beyond that, I said that Florian Wirtz would be the reason why we win the Champions League. I think that a healthy Florian Wirtz involved in this team would be the difference maker and would be the reason why we end up winning a Champions League. I honestly believe that. I believe that he's more suited. He as well is more suited towards the open play and being allowed to have space and the likes and to be to show his talents. And then a third reason why I thought it was the case was despite the fact, and I said this later on, because I didn't expect for us to have such a tumultuous spell this season, but why I also thought we would do well in Champions League is because of what we saw PSG do. This coach is infatuated with PSG, and I'm hoping that he can duplicate the arc that happened with PSG to Liverpool in the Champions League, at least. I mean, he's had to have bang out arguments the same way, same way that Enrique did with Mbappe, and him leaving eventually, and then the coach taking the team on to have no egos and the likes and to look beyond just self and look more into team. PSG ended up doing something of a number toward they in the beginning of the season. PSG did not look like they were going to even make a dent in maybe even France, much less
Mm,
Europe.
mm.
And the end of the year, it was night and day difference. They looked like one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest team in Europe.
No, they were unreal on their way to winning it last season. At times, like, they were a little bit shaky, but I can see why that's in Arnie's mind, like, because that would have been the perfect season, like, last season for him coming in to be able
Mhm.
to win the league and the Champions League. I mean, if we would have knocked PSG out, PSV out, PSG out, I don't
Mhm.
think Villa or Arsenal would have stopped us on our way to the final with Inter. So who
No.
knows? That could have been like as far as a manager goes, like for his CV and that. Imagine him coming in doing that, the league, the Champions League, and then falling off this season. Uh, it it would have been crazy for him, but I can see why he's got that in his mind, like because that's where we were like actually outplayed and outthought last season.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, anyway.
No, it's good. Great point. Great point. Um, we'll see if he has the minerals, as Hyler is asking, or disputing or debating. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, let's just knock off these since we got 50 people in the chat. Let's just at least knock off um the player ratings real quick before I get into open it up to you in the chat and also bringing up a very special segment that I have at the end of the show for a very special player. But let's just knock off these player ratings. Um let's start with Ali. Ali, I gave Ali a 6.5, 6.5 out of 10. I thought giving him a 6 was too harsh, but I gave him a 6.5 out of 10. He was a bit shaky in the beginning of the game. Um, he was a little bit indecisive at times, but also his distribution wasn't fantastic. He was, the reason why Gordon even put a challenge on like he did was because he was, he was holding on to the ball a little bit too much or too long.
Mm.
Um, had a couple of goal kicks that or not goal kicks, but goalie kicks that just flew out of bounds or went over the entire team. Um, but he did make some big saves. Let's be honest with you. He made some big saves.
He really did.
Um,
A few times they were in, he closed them down. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, there was that little incident like with his footwork where Gordon slid in on him.
Mhm.
There was the fact that he didn't keep a clean sheet, but I mean, it went through the guy's legs,
Right.
didn't it? Like, and Gordon was, not very far out from goal, was he?
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
thought it was a good performance from Ali tonight. Like, I was really pleased with the way he performed tonight. Like, couldn't do nothing for the goal. Like, he was stranded for the goal. But I thought he did well tonight.
Okay. What would you get? What's your rating for him, real quick?
I'll give him 7.5.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's settle on a 7 then. Since I gave him a 6.5, you gave him 7.5. We'll settle in the middle for a 7. Um, Look, again, we spoke on it earlier. It's not easy what this guy had to do today, and that is lace up the boots with everything that was weighing so heavily on his mind. Um, but Ibu, I'm going to give Ibu possibly the highest score I've given him all season. I'm going to give Ibu a 9 out of 10 for today. I'm not
Yeah,
saying it because I'm not going emotional.
no, it
Not
was
giving extra
excellent.
points.
It was excellent
I
tonight.
thought it was
There's
excellent.
no doubt of that. Like, he was really focused tonight, wasn't he? Like,
Yeah,
it was a really good performance from him. We've
yeah,
seen that before with players, who just lost their parents and so on, and they have a really good game, like they have an
yeah.
outstanding game, and you don't want to
Mhm,
bring it down to that. The guy still, gets paid by us, and he's one of our players. Like, you'd expect
mhm,
him to
mhm,
give his best performance, but you could see he was really on his mettle tonight, couldn't you?
mhm.
And wanted to prove like that he's the defender we know he is, and that we know he can be.
Yeah, yeah. JK says same as 12-9 for Konaté, proper locked in, and that's what he's capable of. Agreed with that. Norm gave him an 8.8. Hylar gave him an 8.5. Okay. Um, did you give him a 9 as well, or did you give him an 8.5? Did you say?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I give him an 8.5. I thought he was outstanding tonight. Like, it was the best we've seen him in a while. Like, and long may it continue. Hopefully, he can go into the City match with the
Mm,
same. I
good
mean,
shout for Norm. Konaté was his man of the match. Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to make sure I remember that when we get to that vote. Um, I didn't go in. This isn't an order of like. This isn't an order of the players, but um, actually, you know what? I will try to keep it in order. Virgil van Dijk, Virgil van Dijk, our captain. Let me say that Virgil van Dijk. I thought. I thought that Virgil van Dijk did something that a captain should do. Virgil van Dijk did something today that leaders should do, and that is not cower, not simply point the finger at other people and say, "Oh, like how can you do this?" Not do that whole Bruno uh, approach to captaincy, which is you know uh, think that everyone else's fault, but you have no place or part in it. It's a team game. You're a part of the club, part of this team, and take accountability on your shoulders. That's what I thought he did today. Thought he stepped up. I thought he was a captain when it mattered most, and that is he lit a fire under our team's butt, and they responded. I gave Virgil a 7.5, but the chat's giving him eights. What would you have given Virgil? I only gave him a 7.5 because of the fact that we got scored on. But yeah, his stats I'm sure were pretty crazy.
he's usually
Um,
the bedrock of any good performance that we have, isn't he, Virgil? Like, if we play well, Virgil plays well too. Like,
mhm,
sometimes even if Virgil plays well, we win, even when the rest of
mhm.
the team doesn't play well. But yeah, tonight he was good. He was excellent tonight. Like, I thought, like the way Ebu took care of them tonight. Like, some of the problems that he gave us was sound. Um, so yeah, I'll give him an 8 tonight. Like, captain material.
Okay. Okay. Um, we didn't concede from a set piece. That's big. Norm says he felt Kirkez was poor today. He should have got closer to Claire Baldwin for his goal. I can understand that. We can move on to Kirkez right now as well. Before we go on to the other side, which was Dom. For Kirkez, he did have an assist today. He did have an assist. I'm pretty sure he had an assist. He had an assist for the Ekitiké goal, the second Ekitiké goal. He had an assist. So I don't know if that changes anyone's score. I see people are putting in 6.5. I gave Kirkez a 7. It might have been lower, but he did get the assist to Ekitike, so I gave him a little bit of a boost because of that assist. You can always bump your scores in the chat. I see you guys putting in scores in the chat right now. Let's see. Norm says he just felt he was unsteady in possession. He said, okay, 6.5 for the assist. Okay, there you go. A little love. A little bit of love. Do a little dance. Kirk has 7. He's locked in now. I think he's locked in as being our starting left back. I agree with that. Hylor said Kirk has a 7, 6.5 from Lone Sheep. What would you have given him?
I thought he was steady tonight. There was a couple of incidents where he could have done a little bit better, but I thought he was quite steady tonight. Keeping on with his progression of the last few weeks and that. He didn't let himself down tonight or anything, like, could have been a bit better in a few moments, like, but hopefully this game is part of the uptick and the up curve in his performances, like, and he looks a little bit more assured in the position now, doesn't he? Like he belongs to him now. He wasn't quite sure a few months ago if the position belonged to him, but now he knows. And I thought it was good performance. I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Moving on. McAllister. Macca. Let me take a look at his stats real quick because I gave Macca a pretty low score. I gave Macca a 6. I would have given him a 6.5 maybe, but he had that yellow card, which was it was a stupid challenge. He was late. He was never getting to the ball. Sometimes those challenges can be interpreted differently. So he was fortunate to just end up with a yellow. What did you give McAllister?
I give Mac a 7. He didn't score any goals, like, wasn't like that far forward, but he was effective in giving the team a chance to go forward. Should we put it that way? Yeah, I thought he was quite good. So, quite good a set. But yeah, a 7 is good. A 7, you know what I mean? An 8's a bloody good mark, like, you know what I mean? 9's outstanding. So I'll give him a 7 because I thought he was a vital cog in our wheels tonight in our win.
Okay. All right. Some disagree. I was pretty much going with my 6.
You don't know who that is, do you? 12, Claire Balding.
No, I don't.
Where it's a Howard lookalike who presents the race or the horse racing on BBC.
Okay.
Good presenter. She's quite funny as well. Like, not a bad presenter, Claire Balding. Like, but her and Anthony Gordon have never been seen in the same room.
Okay. Next. Let's just move to the next player. Next player is one of the few players that has a sound bite, but on cue. There you go, gravy. I thought Gravenberch was solid, especially when he was doing, his spin and turn style. He was good with like interceptions as well today too. But he was solid. He wasn't fantastic, but he was solid.
Same sort of vibe as McAllister, like, didn't stand. He just did what he had to do tonight, like him and McAllister in that pivot. And that was their job tonight, like, because Wirtz and Hugo and the attacking players had it locked up, like, as far as, like, getting us the win was concerned. But I thought Ryan and Mac were good as a pivot tonight, like, and
I thought
beavered away,
collectively they were good. Yeah, collectively they were good.
feverishly to get us our points.
I don't think either one was had a standout performance between the two of them, but collectively I thought they were decent together. They provided each other enough cover to make it where they didn't look like they were getting run through. Pause. But I gave Grav. If I gave Grav, I'll give Grav a 6.5. What'd you want to give Gravy? Oh, I think Lee might not be with us, so I'll ask you in the chat. Gravy got an 8 from Gravy was great. Best game he's had in a while. See? I gotta look these games over. I will watch this game over too. Because usually when we win like this, I like watching games like this over, getting the tactical breakdown. Gravy was good. Got an 8 from Hylor. 7.5 from Lone Sheep. What did I say? I gave him a 6.5. Wow. I know. I got you. I guess I gave him a 6.5 because I gave Macca a 6. That's why I gave him a 6.5. I thought he was a little better than Macca, but I don't think he was like a point and a half better than Macca. That's the only recognition of it. But I can be swayed. Certainly be swayed. I don't think that was I don't think that's comment to me. I think this might be Norm talking in the chat. 7 for Retro. Hyler says Grav was our 4th best player. Look at his stats, 12th man. Will certainly do so. Nigel says, I didn't watch the match, but before I said I wanted more 1-2 touch speed football with accurate passing. Apparently, we pretty much achieved that. When we got control of the ball, we did, Nigel. We certainly didn't have control of the ball in the first third of the game, but the latter half of the first and certainly the pretty much the entire second half, we did control the ball a lot. All right, I'll go with 7, people. I don't mind. I said 6.5, but I could be swayed to 7 for Gravy. It's okay. It's all right. What about you, Lee?
Yeah, 7 sounds good to me as well. I thought they'd been marked on the job they needed to do. Like, we looked a little bit more like last season's Liverpool once we were in front tonight. Apart from that little bit of bellyache, like where it was 2-1 and they had a few attacks, like we looked a little bit more like the Liverpool of last season once we were in the lead. So
yeah. Let's go with Flo. How about that? Let's go with Flo. There's a song called Fancy Footwork. And it's a good song too. It's by Chromeo. I don't know if you heard of that band. Ever heard of Chromeo?
No.
No? Okay. They're Canadian, but all the same. And they used to have a song called Fancy Footwork. Well, that's what we got from Wirtz. Fancy Footwork, composure. I think he is definitely becoming slowly but surely the focal point of our team. He got an assist from Salah, and he was like, asking for Mo to come and join him in the celebration. I'm hoping that relationship develops in itself. I'm hoping that Flo isn't looked at as, you know, what's the word? Have you ever seen the movie? Oh, now I'm gonna blank on it. Oh shoot, now I'm gonna blank on the name of it. It was with Charlie Sheen. He plays a baseball player. Shoot, I can't believe I'm going blank on it. He plays for the Cleveland Indians, or when they were called the Cleveland Indians, at least. Uh, what's the heck was that name? That Major League. It was called Major League, right?
Mm.
And in the movie Major League, uh, he was like the new star, and then there was the third baseman, who he was like this guy from L.A. Law. That was a movie. That was a show back in the '90s, I think, or I think it was
I
the
remember
'90s.
that, yeah. Corbin Burnson and
Yeah, that's
Amanda
so that
Donahoe and
exactly. He was the guy who plays third. He was the third baseman on the team. He made good money, you know. He was like the new he was like the big star for the team. And like he didn't like Wild Thing, and what was his nickname, or he didn't like Charlie Sheen's character because Charlie Sheen was the up and coming player. I'm hoping that Mo doesn't look at, because I've seen reports that suggest that that was the case, and I don't agree. I don't believe, and I don't agree with the reports, but I'm hoping that Salah looks at it as an opportunity to not only mentor another great talent, but also to look at it as an opportunity for that great talent to maybe enhance Salah's years with the club as well. You know, I'm looking at they can make a relationship between the two of them.
yeah, and I'm
Um,
hoping that too. Like he's a good bloke, Mo. I mean, his career's coming to an end. Like now, it's been a glorious career, full of like fireworks and that. Like, but he is handing the baton on now, isn't he? So
mhm.
I hope that can be a thing. Like as the season goes on, he's just happy for us to be winning if we do actually start winning like regularly, and he can be a part of it. Like.
Mhm. Yeah, I need somebody that doesn't look like, because sometimes people can take they can see players as threats to, you know, their, I won't say egos, but to who their place in the team, or you know, and the likes. And I don't want to. I hope he's not looking at Flo as being that. There's plenty of room for admiration and love from our fan base, and Mohamed Salah will be our legend regardless. You know, so he's got to keep in mind of like help bring in these new talented players so that they can maybe continue take the baton, as it was mentioned earlier, and continue to move it forward. Um, if you have a card signed by Mickey Mantle, you better have that thing in plastic, Norm. Uh, that is something that you don't. You got. I'll put that in the safety deposit box or something. Keep it in the bank. You don't want that thing just lying around. That's money right there. Um, that's what he is, Hyler, and he does a cool touchment. Question: does Wirtz play central midfield or center forward, or have two Wirtz for the price of one 100 million plus bargain? Is what Nigel is saying. I know Wirtz could play a false nine role. I know we've seen Wirtz play alongside sometimes Dom in a 2-10, if you want to call it that. Like we have a front four, but it's like two tens rather than a single forward in the front line. That is a possibility. I get that. But for me, my number 7 should be playing the 10. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Pop Stinks Like Gravy um, had had one of his best games, says Pops. Okay. All right, let's continue to move on this so we can get through this, because we're at an hour and 40 minutes. So what'd you give Wirtz? I gave Wirtz a 7.5. What'd you give Wirtz?
I'm going to give him an 8 just for that footwork.
Okay.
I mean, that was what's it like? Michael Jackson and Billie Jean, where the pavements like lighten up and that. It was his heat light, wasn't it? It's just like,
that just made it. That brought me back when you said that. I'm sorry.
oh, it was, wasn't it? It
That
was.
brought me back. Oh wow. Great video. Back when music videos were a thing. I don't even know if they make music videos really anymore. But yeah, that was a great music video. Let's see. All right, let's move on to Cody. Look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to do a piece on this specifically, but because I don't know why Cody's become a scapegoat for the club. For a lot of fans, they take a lot of anger. They take out some really, really harsh things to say against Cody, a player that is in effect working his way back from an injury that he had not too long ago. He has scored on and off here and there, but he has been really, really a punching bag for a lot of, not a lot, but a good number of fans, I'll say. And I'll say that because I know I was on Twitter Space, CN's Twitter Space, and she had about I think 12 different people as speakers or something like that on this panel. There are a lot of people on the panel, but out of the 12, I'd say she loves Cody Gakpo. That's one of her favorite players. But so she doesn't have really any bad angst to go against him. But the others on the panel, they are saying some really, really ugly things. And I will admit the same thing Pops is saying. Sometimes he has been off. He has certainly been off. He has looked like he has been in a rut. And unfortunately, sometimes when you're a player, I know, especially speaking from my own history, and sometimes when you're out of form, you tend to rush things, or you tend to be wanting to score and get back in where it's so easy that it becomes something. I openly admit, I have not played basketball, for instance, since my surgery. Okay, or since my diagnosis, actually, and I just got the okay to be able to do physical, activities like that. So I took the basketball out. I went on the court, got my shorts, got my sneakers on. First shot I made. Second shot, nope. Third shot, nope. Fourth shot, nope. It's just I just could not sink a basket. And normally it just comes natural for me. I'm not saying I'm Michael Jordan, but normally I can the form and everything is good because you got the routine, you got the habit, the muscle memory, basically, and it takes time. You can get frustrated and it takes time, and sometimes hard work, dedication, doesn't exactly always mix well with patience. And that's what Cody really needs a lot of. And I think Cody is a unique player in that, again, there are certain things that happen with them. But Lee, can you take over for one quick second?
Yeah, what I would say about Cody this season, similar to Mo, the change in our approach this season, has really made Mo and Cody look, I think, a little bit worse than what they've actually been this season. Last season, both of them were on the crash. Mo did most of the hard work, didn't he? As far as assists and goal scoring was concerned, but the pair of them had really good seasons and were a massive part in what won us the league. This season, it's
Mhm.
different, isn't it? And it's been tough for both of them. Like,
Yeah, no, it has been. I take it like as in Pops too. Pops, Hylor, let's see who else is being who's got some. Now I'll include your comments in the conversation. I'm just seeing Hylor made one. Norm, I'm going to include your comments in the conversation here. What I am trying to say is, Cody is not Lucho, for instance. Cody is not and never will be Lucho. But there are other things that Cody does that possibly Lucho can't do to the same level. And I say that because Lucho is not Mane. So often we get into this habit or this unfortunate pattern that we rate. And I'm not saying anyone in the chat's done it today either. I haven't seen any comments about that at all. But what I do hear sometimes is comparisons to other players. Like for Lucho, it was always he was getting compared to Mane, and I'm like, they're two different players. They bring two different skill sets, primary skill sets that they hold on to.
Completely different. And then Cody again, completely different, like as a wide forward.
Right. And what I'm saying is I'm not comparing them. That's my point. Yeah, Pops is saying why the comparison. I'm not trying to compare Cody to Lucho. I'm not trying to compare Cody to Mane or Lucho to Mane or any of the whatever combination you want to make. I'm just trying to give across that there are attributes that Cody holds that I think sometimes people get so frustrated with because of other players that have given those skills that they hunger for in that position. And Cody needs to make better opportunities or better habits of his opportunities. I'm not disputing that as of late. But I also know that I've seen Cody in form. I don't think Cody's a purple patch player, really. Some could easily say that, about some players in the league. I know Son often got that attachment as being a purple patch player. But for me, I think that Cody, when Cody gets into the habit of getting being selected regularly, and also gets into the routine of being on point or being in the scoring mode, I think you see a different Cody. I make a point about I make this point because I got a lot of I was navigating a lot of different people on the pre-match that saw Cody was starting, and they just had an all-out Cody's this, Cody's that, and Cody's bad, or Cody is like, this or that, blah, 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 blah. And they were going, oh, when's the last time Cody had a game winner? Or when's the last time Cody did this? Or when's the last time Cody did that? And I'm like, Cody gets goals. Like, as in, to think that he doesn't get goals, you're kidding yourself.
One of my favourite goals for him was the header against Real Madrid to secure it last season at Anfield. And aside from that one he got like away at Spurs when Simon Hooper was the ref and screwed us to equalise. Remember that? Like, but he got injured, equalising. But it was a fucking brilliant finish.
Yeah. That was the goal against Spurs, right? You're talking about?
Yeah, the away game, Great finish, but he got injured.
Great finish. He injured himself, but he actually was injured in the build-up to that play. He was injured before that and went down and then was out for a lengthy amount of time after he scored the goal. He went down, from the injury. Ended up was out for a lengthy amount of time, then came back, and he went through the same stagnant period that he's going through right now. That's all I'm trying to get across when I'm saying that Cody is a pretty consistent contributor to this team. Is he in form? No, he is not in the form that we not only expect but need him to be. I am not disputing that. But what I am saying is that he can find that form or has found that form before, and I'm hoping that he can do so again. That's all. Nothing. I'm not trying to make it
Yeah,
into
he's one of those players. If the team's performing really well, then he's a dangerous player. But we struggled this season, and he has been hung out to dry a little bit, in terms of the way people are talking about him. He hasn't been that fucking bad, but
that's all.
It's been a poor season for him, and it's been a poor season for Mo. It's been a poor season for a lot of players.
Exactly. That's why that's the reason why I'm mentioning what I am. I'm like, it'd be a different story if only Cody was the only player on our team having, dips in their forms relative to previous years. I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. For him to be the scapegoat or for him to be, the pincushion here. But he hasn't been the only player that has been poor, and it's not giving him a free card, a free get out of jail card. But what I am saying is that I remember one of the people in that space was going on about, oh well, when's the last time he had a game winner? I mean, well, he almost had a game winner. I'll admit that. He should have had a game winner against Fulham
last season, didn't he?
Well, he should have had a game winner against Fulham.
Decisive stuff last season. I don't want to hang on to last season, but he's a player I haven't given up on yet. Let's put it that way. Of course, I've been thinking, what else could we get in that position that could, now that there's been this change in the team, the way we play and that, he has looked a bit shit at times, let's be honest, but he's not a player to give up on yet, if we can, I don't know, achieve our goals this season, keep him in the fold, and see how things progress next season, then who knows?
I
don't give up on him yet, though.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give up on him, and why I'm trying not to really give up on him is because of what I said about that he I think that Cody. I think sometimes people look at it from the narrow perspective of, well, Cody doesn't have the output, the consistent output at left wing for us. There's been years that, with the Klopp years, he didn't ever really play in one position. He played in 5 different positions for us during the Klopp years. Last season he was primarily just as a left wing. He's been finalized as being such this season. He's played off the ball or as a striker once or twice as well. But before I move on from Cody, I just wanted to say that I just think that sometimes people have a narrow perspective on Cody, because Cody does do other things for us in that he is a very, very consistent performer when it comes to our domestic cups. Look, he was the second leading scorer for us in our cup run to that League Cup final last season.
I do miss the celebrations. I do love them so. His celebration is blind, and it's the where he salutes. That's a good one.
Exactly. One. Agent Cody. I think he knows I call him Agent Cody. That's why he gives me a salute. For those of us that still appreciate his service. So
no, Diaz was a completely different animal as a left winger, wasn't he? His natural instinct, as soon as he saw a fullback, was to try and get round them. and as quickly as possible. And that's why he ended up in the false nine, like that sort of unpredictability of him.
Watch the game today. I watched the game over to watch the game over. I'm gonna watch the game over to myself. Towards the end of the game, there were a couple of times when I saw Cody not cut to his right. He tried to go around, he tried to do the overlap or try to go around his defender, try to use the byline to go around his opponent. And a couple of times he actually did, but the pass got blocked, albeit. But a couple of times he was doing this in the sense of he is somewhat doing a different little thing about.
Look, I've seen his left foot's okay. His left foot's quite good. I'm screaming at him though to go on the outside a bit more, or just once in a fucking while to go on the outside, just go for the line with his left foot. His left foot's well good enough to put in a decent cross. He just doesn't go for the line enough. When sometimes there's absolutely nothing else on, and you're like, do it now, do it, because he's got a good motor on him. His that burst of pace when he sets off is good. He just should go for the line more, just to keep you right back guessing a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Agreed. Well, let's move on to. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, let's move on to a player that people are definitely going to be very bullish and very happy to speak about, and that is Ekitiké. Look, Ekitiké, game changer today. Should have probably had a hat trick, to be honest with you. If I could make the image bigger, I would. By the way. Okay, I got you. That's Claire in his picture there with Gordo. Got you. I think he should have had a hat trick. Could have had a hat trick. I thought the hat trick could have probably come off of the header. He had a clear space around him. He lost a defender. He absolutely could have put that third goal in for his hat trick. He didn't, unfortunately. He knew that he should have done better with it, but it's all good. He had a brace, 2 goals for Ekitiké. I gave him a 9 out of 10 for today. I thought he was a spark. I thought he was good. I enjoyed his celebrations. I even enjoyed his reaction to the Newcastle fans that were.
Oh, he's a natural for this stuff. He's a natural for this stuff, Hugo. That's been one of the best things about this season, is the burgeoning relationship in the last couple of months or a few weeks, whatever, between him and Wirtz. They're on each other's wavelength, aren't they?
Yeah.
He sort of, do you know what I mean? They're on each other's wavelength, them two, and that's going to get better as time goes on. The best assist was Hugo's assist for Wirtz. It was that back heel between the defender's legs. That was so saucy. That was just such a saucy flick, that. And I think the two of them are going to get on greatly. Are going to be great. Going to get on fine. Are going to be great friends, aren't they?
I'll tell you this: I do have another Reds moment of Zen, but this could have been, if you're going for the more comical version of the Reds moment of Zen. I have a more heart sent moment of Zen, but this was funny. I saw this photo. If you don't think that the Newcastle fans, maybe even the coach, know that they missed out on bringing a quality player in Ekitiké, look at the face of Hal. He does. That face alone kind of says it. What you can see Ekitiké.
I was thinking that before the match. There is quite a dark side to me. And I was thinking before the match about the way they missed out on him. Something could happen, like that he could rub shit in Howe's face tonight, like, and I think he definitely did, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
No, it's just the
you can
wavelength.
see Ekitiké mean mugging
Poor old
now,
Eddie Howe.
now,
Fucking hell.
Eddie
Mate,
Howe
he ain't
looking
going
at
to
him
have his
like,
job that much longer, is he, with them owners?
what's that?
Eddie Howe, he's not going to have his job very much longer, I don't think,
I
with
said
them
that too.
owners.
I said that in the very beginning of this show. I don't know how long Eddie Howe can go on if Newcastle is going to. I think Eddie Howe has done everything he can for Newcastle.
I just about remember him as a player. Can you remember him as a player? He was like a fullback or a wing back or some shit, is what I can remember. But I do remember him, clearly do remember him as a player. He was like some sort of fullback, wing back type effort.
I just think Eddie Howe is a all due respect, I just think Eddie Howe has taken Newcastle as far as he can take them, I think. And it has been a monstrous and incredible road that he's had to navigate, by the way. Because, Newcastle, before winning that League Cup, they had been on and I'm not talking about I'm talking about trophyless. They've been trophyless for years.
Yeah, so, what I will give them is people were saying, "Oh, it's the first domestic trophy they've won in like a zillion years," but they did win the UEFA Fairs Cup in '68 or '69, I think it was, and that was a really tough tournament to win in them days. Leeds didn't manage it, but Newcastle did.
Yeah. But yeah,
Leeds did fucking win it at about the second attempt, but it was a good win for Newcastle. They played up Jess Dozer from Hungary in the final.
I'm going to skip Salah for 1 second because I want to use that as a segue. I'll go to the subs real quick. I gave Chiesa a 6.5. I gave Jones a 6, and I gave Endo a 6.5. What did you give the subs? If you want me to, all three of the subs: Chiesa, Curtis, and Endo.
All in one go, I'll give them a 5. Okay. And that's not being stingy or not. And it's just because they were subs and only on for the far end. But they didn't do anything bad, didn't do anything good, so they stay at a solid 5.
Okay. I gave my I know we didn't do Salah. I'm saving Salah for the very end. But for my man of the match, I gave Hugo Ekitiké my man of the match, 2 goals in 2 minutes. I think he was the real he really turned the game around. I think he
catalyst is a great word. Catalyst.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Mate, we were fucking shit until the point that he scored and then scored again.
Why you gotta drop big words and then drop you drop like the big words, like the good 25-cent words we call them here or something like that, or like
$10 words,
$10 words, and then you go right back to the vulgarity. Can't do that.
No, it was really good. It was. I said that when we were talking before the game, didn't I? In the WhatsApp, about I think if we're going to win tonight, a lot of it rests on Hugo's shoulders. If we're going to score, he's probably the man who's going to do it. And then, good as me words, they came out with fingers. He went and fucking done it for me. I can't say fairer than that. I've been slowly falling in love with him, since we bought him. It's been a trying season, but he's been in a massive high point, hasn't he? And he has got that bit of start, and I do like his celebrations, the 2 he did tonight. He's got that about him. He can score a brilliant goal, a blinding goal, and also mug you off with his celebrations, mate.
Mhm. Yeah, I see. Is being asked of me about my sentiment and romance because I did not look. I was going to the end of my sentence was going to be Hugo Ekitiké, 2 goals in 2 minutes. I think that's the moment Newcastle really lost the match was his 2 goals. That's my point. Like I think the momentum, the energy, everything changed with his 2 goals, and especially since they were in such close vicinity. I think we went from struggling in the game to all of a sudden controlling and being dominant in the game with his 2 goals. But Konaté deserves immense praise to have been a warrior to come back and help his brothers in getting this win, and that's just it. I thought Ekitike was the difference maker in this game in the sense of I would strongly argue of anyone that I think that the game changed with his 2 goals. Okay, especially again since they're such close goals too. It wasn't like it was a goal and then we had to wait for the second 15, 20 minutes later. Um, but Ibu and his presence in the back in that back line, and then to get the goal was, I think, was definitely a cherry on the top style to this. It was everyone was rooting for him. He almost got 1 goal before that, but he deserved the goal. I think he deserved the goal. Where are you going with? I can be outvoted. I can be outvoted.
Well, that
Ibu
was
is
our
is
first shot on
undoubtedly
target,
the
wasn't
choice in
it? Sorry.
undoubtedly the choice of the chat is Ibu. What is your choice for man of the match?
Oh, it's got to be Hugo for me. As I said, catalyst,
Oh,
instigator, match
don't say
winner.
it too loud. You might get yelled
It
at.
wasn't just the goals, it was when it happened because we weren't looking, we were on the ropes a bit like when that equaliser happened. And okay, it was down to Wirtz's
Yeah,
magic dancing feet. But then to
yeah,
follow it up with that second one, yeah, that's a man of the match performance for me.
yeah. He put those are 2 very difficult goals he scored. Both of them were 2 very difficult goals that he scored. And I just thought that they were difference makers in this game. But Ibu should be definitely getting a shout for sure. So I'll say the chat's man of the match is undoubtedly um, is Ibu. Shout for Ekitike from Dara, but other than that, I saw a lot of Ibu shouts. I know he was man of the match for Norm, Pops. Um, let's see who else said that he man of the match. I saw
I
someone
tell
else
you,
say
who was good. John was quite good at right back.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd sort of. I was hoping that we were never going to see Don deployed at right back again this season, like, but needs must, and he did a really good job, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
There was certain instances like where he did really well, like in the position.
What would you have given? What would you have given Arnie? What was your rating for Slot?
This is a good one for Arnie because we haven't had many we haven't had many good moments in the Premier League lately. So
Mhm.
I will give him his due. It's going to be like a 7.2. Don't want to say 7.5. I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I'll say 7.2 for Arnie out of 10.
I don't think that we're going to make any moves in the final day, but you never know.
Bloody hell.
I don't think
That's
we are going to make any moves.
what the hell are they up to? What is this shit?
I don't know.
No, we are taking a like, yeah.
Yeah, we're taking a risk, like you're about to say. Yeah, we are taking a risk. Look, I thought Arnie was good in that he blocked out the noise. He trusted his players today. He got Liverpool their first Premier League win of 2026, albeit it is the end of January when we get it, but all the same, it is a win. So, most importantly, he got an ounce of us saying maybe we can start to use this as a momentum builder. I'm seeing it as there's three. There's the jump, the hop, and the skip, I guess, or the skip hump. What is it? Jump, hop, skip, or whatever.
Hop, skip, and jump.
Hop, skip, and a jump. That's what it is, right? The hop, the skip, and the jump. Well, we performed the hop by getting over Newcastle. We've got to perform the skip in getting past Manchester City. And then we got to get the final jump of getting past Sunderland before I say, hey, we've got some real momentum to recognize as with this team. I held off from Salah. Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
It'd be just like us to put in a great performance against City and then mess it up like away to Sunderland. But
for this year, that would be on script.
I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think we can definitely give City a game. This when is it? Is it next weekend? Is it a week?
Next weekend. Yep.
Next weekend, I think we can give them a better game than we could have given them last week, because we've got this under our belts now. 10-1 in the last 2 games. Okay, it was only Karabakh in the Champions League, but Karabakh are in the knockout stages, so don't knock them. Don't knock the Karabakh.
Yeah, you can't knock them.
In the last stages, and there are many teams that aren't.
Before we get to, because this is going to be I think this is the last segment of the show here. So I don't want to get and then I'll open it up to the panel and the chat if there's something they want to talk about. But I didn't rate Salah because I wanted to save his rating for after I had this to say. Look, say what you will about Salah, but I think before we move on, we have to talk about Liverpool's third goal. Because for me, it tells you something important about Mohamed Salah. Even in a season where his form has been questioned, and rightfully so, by the way. This wasn't a flash. This wasn't chaos. This wasn't control. Actually, this was control. This was Mohamed Salah getting himself in focus, because the goal that came in the 67th minute with Liverpool already ahead, I get that, but was certainly a nail in the coffin, was Newcastle. While Newcastle was trying to regroup, the game sitting at that dangerous point where one mistake can swing momentum. We all know that. We've seen it happen before. Liverpool won possession near midfield, immediately turned it into a counter. The intent was clear. Florian Wirtz shifts the ball wide to Salah. And this is the key part. Salah waited. He didn't rush it. He didn't force the shot to try to get himself his goal. He draws the defenders in. He pauses for a quick moment and then slides the ball perfectly back into Wirtz's path. One touch, one finish, goal. 3-1. Everyone is basically saying, game over. Let's have fun with this. And I think that's intelligence. That's timing. I even go as far as to say that is leadership. And I would like to say, I'm going to bring it back to Lee right after this, and that is, here's where this goes beyond just a nice assist. With that pass, Salah made, once again, Premier League history. He became the first player ever to record 10 or more goals and 10 or more assists against a single opponent in the competition. So he has had 19 Premier League appearances against Newcastle United. He has 10 goals and he has 10 assists. That is phenomenal for him. That's ownership of a club. And even in games like this, where he doesn't dominate every touch or every moment of the game, Salah still bends matches to his will when he gets the opportunity through patience, positioning, and in my opinion, decision-making, proper decision-making. So I'm saying all this because I think Salah remains indispensable. I'm not someone that wants to, get rid of him right now in the January window or anything like that. I wasn't even pushing that. I am someone that does want to see Liverpool eventually phase out wingers from this team and concentrate more on 4-4-2s, solidifying our midfield, having a bona fide striker force for us. That is my vision. But I think that while we have possibly one of the greatest right wingers in Premier League history, we should make the most of it. And I think that he still shows up when the game needs calming and not chaos, or when the game needs a hero. He's normally there. We've struggled this season, and he has been part of those struggles. But I'll say this: what have been your opinions? I gave him a 7 out of 10 for the game. What's been your opinions about Salah?
He was a bit vanilla tonight, and he's got up his game in the remainder of the season. But I do have faith that he can do this. Like, he's only just landed again, like, and got back into the squad, hasn't he? We have been struggling, so I don't know what the future holds with Mo. Like, whether we're gonna move him on in the summer or what. Like, I'd like his last few months to be good ones. You know, I'd like him to be part of a winning team that, you know, qualifies for the Champions League and has a good go in this season's version of the competition. But we just don't know at the moment. Like, but it's one thing. Like, thought about ages ago is, like, it's not gonna diminish him in my eyes. Like, so not gonna be like, oh yeah, Mo was brilliant for us, and then that last season he was shit. I mean, we were shit. Like, we were shit from the kick-off this season, and the man has struggled. Like I said before, Cody struggled, like, with the change in the way we play. The pair of them out there on the wings just have not the same effect as they had last season. But you know, I'd like to believe that we can still have a good positive end to the season, and he can play a big role in it. I did enjoy that he scored, like, against Karabag. Like, that was nice that Dom did that little. So I want to see a bit of that, like a couple of assists. You know, he's got a great assist in him, Mo. Like, you know, on his left foot, like, it can come from many different angles, and I just want to see him involved a little bit more. I want to see him involved a little bit more, like, you know, as the season comes to its climax and that, and hopefully we get what we want, which is Champions League qualification and, you know, a bit of representation in this year's fucking competition.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's always been a good competition for Mo, the Champions League. He does love the Champions League. He comes alive in the Champions League.
He does well in the Champions League, yeah. He gets his numbers.
If we can manage to navigate, like, the early rounds and that, who's to say we can't send him off? Like,
I'm not going to lie and say that Mo has been the man when it comes to European finals, but he has been influential in us getting to European finals, or contributing in the path or the journey towards a final. He has been instrumental in. But
I think they're the games, like, where he'll probably shine. Like, if we go through the Champions League, like,
oh yeah,
I think so. Like, you know, at least into the semi-final stage. Like, I'm sure there'll be games in which he'll shine, because there's a little bit more room for him, like, in teams that are actually trying to beat us.
I think there's going to be a lot more. Not only that, I think that he's going to recognize probably that runs like this aren't going to come too often for him, considering his age. You know, so you know, opportunities for him to be in to be a part of anything like a Champions League final. I think he's going to make the most of it if he gets the opportunity of it. And I don't know who Damian Carter. I always ask for our guests to, you know, if you're gonna be a part of the conversation, we all welcome it. You don't have to be a red to be a part of the conversation. We also ask that you just say, if you're gonna walk into someone's house, you at least say hello, and introduce yourself. If if you're new, maybe say, "Hey, you're Damian Carter, and you represent, I don't know, whatever, obviously, whatever team it is that is most likely not Liverpool," with a comment like that. So yeah. But that's all we ask. Pops says, or let me get the highlights question or statement. Every player on the pitch every player on the pitch needs one or more link ups. And right now, Salah is pretty alone on that right side. Compare that to when he had Trent to feed and passes. Ekitiké looks electric at the moment, but he has Wirtz. Bayesian Pop says, similar to Cody, Mo needs to make better decisions in the final third. He should easily have scored and probably been involved in a few more goals too, just on today's game. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought I'd bring up some positive things that maybe, we all know that Mo loves a record. I mean, if you were to look, there was a meme that showed I used to have it pretty readily
Oh no,
available.
Mo's got a massive record collection, mate. It's the envy of many of his friends, like his record collection. He's got a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there used to be like the list is pretty incredible. Let me see, I'll show you. I mean, there was a meme that had the picture of it, which is pretty incredible.
That was one of the bits of last season that really done me head in, apart from PSG knocking us out the Champions League, was that he's only level with those two other guys for the most goals and assists in one season. He only had to get one more to be out on his own. But, that's not quibble. He still did it anyway, and it's a hell of a feat to do what he did last season, the goals and assists combo. It was just one more, and we could have had that record all to ourselves.
Yeah.
He could have got a gold copy of it,
Make sure I got them all in there. I don't think I got them all in there. Individual. Oh, I didn't get them all in there, actually. I did not. Here you go. Yeah. Look, Mr. Damian, Mr. Carter, if you think that our living legend is what you are saying, I'm not even going to give it credence to say that word about him. Take a look at his work. His CV alone should make you hesitate to say that. His CV alone should make you hesitate. You can see how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It took me 8 different entries because you only put in so many characters in each entry to put in his accolades, whether it's Premier League, Liverpool, or even individual accolades. He has a boatload of them. So why don't you take that?
Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Yeah. If you've got trolls, it means you're doing something right. That's how I see it. It means you must be doing something right that makes your enemies hate you. So have fun with it.
I really like them Owen films with Damien. if that's what the guy's name was. Oh, they're great, them films, aren't they? I really like the second one. That second one's mad.
I know you could wallpaper your front room with that. It could be. It probably could be. All right, let's open this up real quick for the last 5 minutes of the show here. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Is there something you wanted to talk about, Lee?
How many records Mo broke? I mean, do we have to Google the fucking number? No, in all good nature and all good banter. Like, let's hope it's.
I don't know. I think is that how many he did? 30, 31?
Yeah. Love that stuff. I'm into all that. Sometimes I'm not like, it depends what the player is like and what he's done like, but the way he took that second one away, like that just had to be done, didn't it? Like, just go.
Yeah. After this result, are we back? Says Hylord. No, we are not. How about that?
No, I've been down this road too many times already this season, haven't we? Like, where we think a decent victory is going to be the turning point. That's shit. Like,
not gonna
say that. Not gonna say that. Yeah. All I'll say is this was an encouraging start to the next few games, and the next one is City.
With the banana in the tailpipe. Sorry.
Well, in recent years, City have become the big, like, Manchester thing that does me head in. Years ago, it was United, but sadly, they're not that big anymore. Like, so to be able to do City, and it'll make me laugh. I don't give a shit if it hands Arsenal the league. I mean, I've been saying for about fucking 4 months now that Arsenal have looked like champions all season, and they have, mate, from the fucking get-go. Even when we beat them with that Soboslai free kick, they've looked like champions to me. They keep on doing it. And, mate, I'll eat my fucking hat. If I owned a hat, I'd eat the fucker if Arsenal don't win the title.
I think I would probably say the most impressive statistic of it is a combination of statistics. That's what's being asked. Nigel says, which would you say is the most impressive record? I would say a record within itself, in that in 24-25, Mohamed Salah won the Golden Boot. He won Playmaker of the Season, I think it's called, right? Isn't that what they call it? I think that's basically the person that has the most assists. And he won Player of the Season, all in the same season. I think that is incredible. That is an incredible feat. I think that is an incredible feat. That might be possibly the most impressive thing on his resume. I think is that to have been not only the top goal scorer in the league, but then to say that you also had the most assists in the league. That says a lot about a fantastic season for you.
No, he has a good go at it tonight. Like, and the least you can say is, like, he played a good part in the build-up to the first goal, to the equaliser. He took the shot on, but it bounced somewhere else, and thanks to Ryan's quick thinking, it ended up at Wirtz's magic feet. But he played a part. He did his best. You know what I
mean? Peter asked, what did Slot say about January signings? Hyler posted it earlier, but I'll show what he did post again. He said, speaking after Saturday's 4-1 win over Newcastle, Slot said, I think we are trying to strengthen the squad and not trying to weaken it. But yeah, 48 hours to go. Let's see where the window ends up. I think that's a safe set.
Look, I always live in hope. As long as the window's open, like, I hope we can still make a bloody signing. And if it takes us till the last moment, it takes us till the last moment. but it's got to be done. Surely they've got to buy somebody.
Pop saying I'm not with Lee on his point. Possibly not. I don't know. Do you think we have left the bad period behind us, and has Arne Slot finally recognized the players that Hughes and Edwards bought? Finally recognized the players that Hughes and Edwards bought to him last summer.
The job was just too big for him, like, wasn't it? He tried to move us too quickly, I think, at the beginning of the season, and it put us in a losing position, and we haven't really recovered from that. Like, it's been a harder job than what he probably anticipated it would have been in the summer, like after the signings we made. But you know, you can't knock a man for trying. Like, at least he tried.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could include it. Norm, send me the link. I'll pass it on to him. But let me also say this. If you can, that way you can just put in links yourself. Norm, if you can, at the end of the show, just drop a comment in at the end of the show, and I'll be able to. It's the easiest way to mod people is if they put a comment in, because I can. It means that you are, I don't know, somehow YouTube allows it to be a little bit easier to mod people. Sometimes I can't, even though you might be subscribed to the channel, I can't find. I'll put your name in, and not you personally, but I'll put a name in and it won't come up for some reason, and I can't mod them or so that they can help us out on the channel. Let's see. Any other questions? You know what, Peter? That is a great question. I am disappointed. If from what I heard, or from what I've read, Jeremy Jacquet has agreed to personal terms with Chelsea, and that he is only looking for a move to Chelsea now, or something along those lines. He's agreed to terms with them. So that's at least what I read in a couple of different posts by a couple of different relatively credible journalists. I would be disappointed because I thought that I'm hearing that he is the next big, prospect out there. He's the next big player that, has a promising future in the center half position. If that's the case, I would love to bring Jacquet in and have him be a part of the team, so that he can not only, grow with it, but he could eventually, maybe develop a relationship with Leone as a partnership as a center half partnership, and also learn from the tutelage of Virgil, or if Ibu were to stay, obviously for the rest of the season, whatever he can get from him as someone that is a fellow Frenchman on the team.
I think whatever happens, he is a centre half that somebody's going to buy in the summer, like probably in the Premier League. If we don't,
no, that's supposed to be for. They're talking about January. They're trying to make it happen this January.
Well, I hope so. I mean,
no, I meant Chelsea. Chelsea, that is.
Oh, right.
Chelsea's trying to.
Somebody's going to buy him, like, and I don't see a lot of other better options. Maybe O'Donnell's aside, right at the moment. Like, if we can get anybody this window, and I'm sure Xhaka could probably play right back, like, if you asked him to. So I don't know.
It's interesting because a lot of the people have put out there about, Dumfries, for instance, and I mean, like. I remember Drifty was pretty upset, for instance, that we were even contemplating going for a player that is injured, or was just coming off of injury. He had been injured in late November, early December, or something like that. And I can understand that. I think it was more of this club will put in inquiries for a lot of players. It doesn't mean just because you inquire for a player, it doesn't mean that you're going to go for that player. So, like, you might inquire, hey, well, what's up with Dumfries? And they say, well, he's injured currently, and this is what his status is. Then, you get that bit of information and you say, okay, thanks for telling us. We're no longer interested. Let's move on to our next choice. Um, I think that was the case for Dumfries. I'm not an ITK, but that's the read that I would have taken from it. And speaking of Reed, I know Javario Reed is another player that's heavily looked at currently. Javario Reed, I guess is his name, right? I don't know too much about Oscar Mingueza. I'd have to look. I'd have to research that one. But I'm more interested in. This is what my perspective is. I know it's going to be a tough ride for us to get through a season without bringing in reinforcements. However, today you saw, for instance, on our bench, a lot more youth academy players than you probably thought you would see. Not only that, I'm more interested in us being able to go for a significant player in the summer, and not just one, but two significant players when it comes to central a center back. So if holding off till the summertime means that we can go for, this is just me speaking, I know he's not the cup of tea for everyone, but if it means that we can bring in Schlotterbeck and Bastoni in the same window, in that summer window, I'm all about it. But that's something I want to see. We would have Leone back. Chances are Gomez will be moved on from. Looks like Ibu is more likely to move on, be let go through free agency. So we'll need two additional center halves to be placed in there. Leone will be back and hopefully healthy enough to be a part of the mix, to be part of the rotation. It's also why I would like to see us go for Jacquet right now, because I think that would be a nice to have. 5 center halves would be nice, especially center halves that are versatile enough that they can play left back, that they can play maybe right back, or wherever they can play on that back line. That is my own perspective when it comes to opinion on our transfer situation. Do you have one that you want to put in before we bounce out? Because we're already at 2.5 hours.
And I know that there is a target out there for us, like in defence. I don't think we're going to be buying a right back with us already having to. Yes, they're both injured, but I don't think that's going to happen. But there still should be a little bit of room for a centre back, maybe, like, this window.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure that we achieve our objectives. The main one is qualifying for the Champions League. I mean, I'm not really asked, like, a new fellow coming in can help us, like, win the Champions League or some shite like that.
No, yeah, exactly.
Come in and help us qualify for next year's tournament. I won't actually mind, though, if it is through the 5th place and we do have to have a playoff. Fucking hell, it's ages since we had a playoff. The last one I can remember was Hoffenheim, when Nagelsmann was Hoffenheim's manager, when Jürgen had just come. And we had to go in the bloody playoffs to get in. And we beat Nagelsmann Nagelsmann's Hoffenheim at the time. But yeah.
I'm going to try to do a deadline show too, by the way. I am going to try to do a deadline show. It depends if Lee and the guys are available for it. Because I don't want to be alone on deadline day. So it'll be good to have some company. But yeah, I'll try to do a deadline show, and I'll probably do like the last hour and a half of the virtual deadline that So you know how they have the clock running down. I'll do the last hour and a half of that clock running down.
We do also have the good luck omen of 2005 when we had to have a qualifier and we ended up winning the fucking tournament. And in the same season, Everton, who had finished 4th ahead of us, had to go into the playoff too, begrudgingly, and were ejected by Villarreal. What a great playoff! What a great playoff week that was! Like for us to go through and go on and to win the trophy, and for Everton to draw Villarreal and come they were really close. They got ripped off a bit, like as well by the ref. Ferguson thought he'd scored late on, but it got ruled out. But that was a good one. Last time we were in the qualifiers, pre-Nagelsmann's Hoffenheim. So yeah, we could be in the qualifiers again next season and win the fucking thing.
Yeah, we could. Anything's possible, people. Anything's possible. I like Kevin Garnett, not as a Celtic. I don't like the Celtics at all, but like he says, anything's possible. I don't know. That's if
David Moyes already didn't like Liverpool, but when his Everton side got knocked out in them fucking CL fucking qualifiers, like, and it was because of us. It wasn't us who knocked them out, but it was us who made them go in the qualifiers, like. And I don't think Moyes ever recovered from that, and still hasn't.
Oh man, let me see if I can. I thought, well, I was going to say if Monte wanted to give a shout, but I guess I can't find it. I'll have to find it. Well, maybe Monte. I know Monte has is working the late shift at his job, so maybe he has something come up and is unable to join. But Nigel says he asked before what's your view on the time between now and City, barring in mind we are buzzing at the moment.
Have City played yet this weekend?
No, they play tomorrow.
Who did he play?
Manchester City play. I just had that in my head, who they played, but I'll tell you. Give me 1 second.
Please tell me it's an away game.
It is an away game. They play the Spurs.
Oh, that's a twat of a game for them usually. Like
it is. Spurs are usually like their boogeyman.
Yeah. But it'd just be like this season, the way things are going, that they bloody go there and win this season. But even when they've been like, you know, at the top of their fucking game, like, you know, fucking treble winners, won all the games at the beginning, go to Spurs, lose. That was one of that game where Spurs beat them. I think it was bloody last season. Yeah, it was before Rodri got injured. They started the season off like really well and then went to Spurs and got beat. It's like, yes. Spurs are good for that, like sometimes.
They are.
Not so much against Man United. When you want Spurs to get a result against Man United, it's not that often very good.
Well, tomorrow's games, there's 4 games tomorrow. Villa, Brentford, Manchester United versus Fulham, Forest versus Crystal Palace, and Spurs versus City, Manchester City. Those are tomorrow's games. I don't know. I don't know how you're feeling about any of those games particularly, but
my dislike of seeing the Premier League trophy end up in Manchester is so severe that I'm well in fucking, you know, no problem with Arsenal winning the league. None at all. Have at it. Do it.
No. And no. I just it's tough enough navigating the internet spaces
Oh, come on. You know, it'll add a bit of spice to your life. Like, come on. You can have a bit of fun with this
I don't
next
need any
season. Like,
more. I don't need any
if it
heartburn,
brings
man.
on the
That's what
sort
it
of
is.
the hubris that we think it will induce, it could be quite funny next season, like talking to Arsenal fans.
Yeah, that would be some serious heartburn right there. But I don't know. They've moved out to 7 points. You know, it is something where I don't want, again, I don't want to see Manchester City win the league. I'm not. I already told you my opinion on whether, you know, I would be willing to sacrifice us losing to City for if it meant helping them track down Arsenal. Heck no. That's not even remotely a thought. But I will say that I would like to possibly see Villa. I wouldn't mind seeing Villa win the league. That's who I'm hoping wins who I would, you know, as a bystander, as someone that's not someone that supports a club that's not in the run of it. I'm saying I would like to see Villa win the league. I think that would be better for the league than it would be than I think Villa winning the league would be better than seeing Arsenal win the league, personally.
I think Villa winning the league is less likely than us winning the league, to be honest. As
I mean,
well as
they're 7 points out from the lead right now.
no,
They
they've
have a
done
game
really
against
well, but
home game
they've
against
done
Brentford.
really well, but
They have
they
to
haven't
do.
got the squad to go all the way, have they? Sadly,
No, they just brought in Abraham and Tammy Abraham, and they also they had an opportunity to make it even a tighter race than it actually is right now.
no, he could be an
However,
astute signing, talented forward there, Tammy. If Emery can unlock what he's got and bring it into play for Villa, like then you know, I'm sure it'll be a good move.
no, I get that, and I agree, Peter. I think that is something that could happen. That is, I believe that could happen. I just don't know if Emery is a fit with Madrid, considering the egos that are associated with Madrid.
I'd have him here, mate. Definitely. He's really sus, isn't he? Like, Emery, you know, if we don't end up with Alonso and who's the other ones? Somebody Alonso really even mentioned. Then get his Basque chum Emery in the hot seat because he has proved himself, and it would be quite funny that Arsenal cast him aside, like, and we brought him here and he did the business. They were dead arse on him, weren't they, the Arsenal fans, Emery? They never gave him a fucking chance. It was that season where they went to the Europa League final against Chelsea, won it and lost. But even before that, the knives were out for him, weren't they? But like, he plays a certain way and he's got a certain fucking hell, mate. As long as it's winning, give him a better set of players, like, and who knows?
Yeah, agreed.
Big Emery fan.
Agreed. I get you. Definitely get you on that. Well, people, we have gone over already, and I will say thank you to the more than 50 people that were in the chat, whether you're on X or whether you're on YouTube. We appreciate you on both of the platforms. We hope that you spread the word and try to bring your conversation to the table here. You know, it's a big table, and we are more than willing to have obviously, to have the Reds of all sides of the coin to be a part of it, but we're also willing to have guests be a part of our daily bread, and we appreciate it that the conversation gets some insight from others outside our Reds bubble, if you want to call it that. So, is there anything else you want to talk about, Lee, before we we wrap up and push out?
I just hope the gap we've got between now and the City game helps us. I'm sure it will. It should do, like, shouldn't it? Having a few more games, a few more days. Pardon me, a few more days for us to prepare and that way. So hopefully it will, and hopefully we can get a good performance and a good result. I'm looking forward to it anyway, because Liverpool City games are always interesting, aren't they? Like whatever type of games they are, they're always interesting. So yeah, let's see what happens this season. I know we already bloody lost there, but last season was great, wasn't it? Like the 2 wins, the double last season, like the way we went about it at their ground as well, like with the 4 midfielders, that was great. But we're at home anyway, aren't we, for this next one? So let's make that count.
Yeah, well said. Well said. People, can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you. Let's just be honest, Liverpool needed this. I understand that the Newcastle isn't exactly the normal powerhouse of a team that they have been in recent history for them, but they are still a good team, I think. So we needed this. Again, this is the hop. We got a skip and a jump left, but this was the hop. I know it is late as anything for most of you, so I'm going to allow for you to enjoy the rest of your, what might be morning for you now, but all the same, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a great show lined up for you. We'll be back at this. I just wanted to leave you with them with, again, a little bit of Red Zen in the sense of saying that I believe that all of our hearts, all of our thoughts and prayers go out to Ibu and his family, still, grieving from the loss of his father. I would say absolutely tremendous effort today from you, Ibu. We are proud to call you a Red. Once you're a Red, you're always a Red, and we wish you the best. We hope that you continue to push forward in this season, and intensity, toughness, togetherness, purpose is what we want to see from this team. We saw that today. I think there is still some life left in this team, in this side, and if they carry this forward, we can get something out of this season. And I'm always asking for every last one of you to continue to support each other. We are all Reds. We all want the same thing, and that is for success for our club, for glory for our Reds. So up the Reds each and every time, and we will see you tomorrow, people. All right? Until then, take care, and good night.